Chosen one, in this very moment, there is a divine current that has led you here, weaving threads of destiny in ways you may not yet fully understand. Whether you stumbled upon this message by chance or deliberately sought something meaningful, rest assured that nothing about this encounter is accidental. Deep inside, you have sensed for some time that your life is part of a larger story, that events and decisions, both big and small, have been guiding you toward a single point of clarity. Today, let your heart be open to receive, because God has a message for you. A whisper of truth meant to stir the depths of your soul and redirect your path toward new horizons. You might feel a gentle trembling in your spirit, a quiet excitement coursing through your veins, because you recognize that what you are about to hear could very well alter your life's trajectory. In the rush and clamor of daily existence, it is all too easy to overlook the subtle ways God communicates. Divine nudges may come as sudden flashes of insight, or as persistent ideas that refuse to be silenced. Sometimes they arrive through unexpected conversations, or through a series of coincidences you can't quite explain. Yet these signs are not coincidences at all. They form a tapestry of subtle clues, each leading you closer to the moment where truth reveals itself like a sunrise on the darkest of nights. Even when you have doubted yourself or doubted whether God was even listening, an unseen hand has been orchestrating moments of reflection, moments of wrestling with your past, moments where you felt an unshakable desire to do or become something more. These are not illusions but confirmations that your life has a higher purpose. Close your eyes, if only for a second, and let the weight of the moment settle in. Imagine the turning of a page in a vast cosmic book, each chapter a season of your existence. Now feel the hush in your spirit. This is the threshold between what was and what is yet to be. God's message for you is not about condemnation or burden. It's about awakening. It's about opening your eyes to a perspective that goes beyond the immediate problems and pains that often consume your attention. You have navigated roads of heartbreak, encountered betrayal that left you questioning your worth, and carried secret burdens that weighed heavily on your heart. Yet here you are, chosen one, still standing, still breathing, and that is no small thing. Resilience is not a weakness to hide. It is evidence of divine grace at work in your life. Sometimes, it is precisely in your loneliest hours that you can sense the soft glow of God's presence the most. When the clamor of the world quiets and you find yourself gazing into the uncertainties that loom ahead, that is where God's voice resonates. Calm, certain, and unwavering. This message is for you because you have been asking questions no one else can answer, searching for a reassurance that there is more to your life than meets the eye. And perhaps you've been waiting for a sign, a clear direction, or even just a word of encouragement that will breathe fresh hope into your soul. Let this be that sign. Let this be the gentle confirmation you have long prayed for. Before we venture further into the heart of this divine call, I want to invite you to do 3 things that might seem small, yet carry great symbolic power. First, like this video, that simple gesture is an outward affirmation of the stirring you feel within, an acknowledgement that you are here, you are open, and you are ready for something more. Second, subscribe to this channel so you do not miss any future words of inspiration or guidance that resonate with your journey. Third, and this is crucial, leave a comment below with the number 777. This number, 777, signals your readiness, a declaration that you embrace God's message and align yourself with the blessings that are poised to unfold. If a part of you hesitates, wondering whether such small actions could mean anything, trust that intention often manifests through symbolic steps. Each act, however minor it may appear, declares to the world, and to your own subconscious, that you do not want to miss what God has in store for you. Chosen one, reflect for a moment on the tapestry of your life. There have been chapters filled with laughter and success, but also pages stained with tears and regret. You have walked down paths where you felt overshadowed by others' accomplishments, unsure if you had what it takes to leave your own mark. You have made mistakes, some that might still sting with shame or guilt, and you have wondered if those choices have disqualified you from God's plan. Yet the truth is that your imperfections, far from pushing you out of God's reach, make you the perfect candidate for redemption and transformation. God's message for you is not limited to people who have everything figured out or who walk without stumbling. On the contrary, it arrives for those who have been broken, for those who understand the value of mercy because they needed it for themselves. Your flaws do not disqualify you. They are the reason God wants to move in your life so powerfully. The human heart yearns for love, acceptance, and a sense of belonging. So often we search for these in external achievements, relationships, or fleeting distractions. Yet these pursuits can leave us emptier than before, longing for a love that fills the deepest well of our being. That is where God's message for you shines like a beacon. The love you have been craving, the acceptance you have fought so hard for, and the sense of worth that no worldly success can grant. They are all available in the divine presence. When you genuinely open your heart, you discover that you have been cherished all along, that your life was never a random accident, and that your existence truly matters. In many ways, your struggles have served as a refining fire, purifying your heart and clarifying your vision. Think back to times when you felt utterly alone, times when friends or family could not offer the comfort you needed. It was in those moments that God was whispering, "You are not alone," shaping your character through adversity. Through financial hardships, you learned resourcefulness and gratitude. Through heartbreak, you learned compassion for those in pain. Through rejections, you learned perseverance. And through all these lessons, your heart remained open. Sometimes wounded, sometimes questioning, but open nonetheless. That openness is the fertile soil where God's message can take root. God's message, though universal in truth, is intensely personal to you. It acknowledges your unique history, your distinctive gifts, and your unspoken dreams. Perhaps you've sensed that you are on the verge of a major transition in life. You might be weighing the decision to start a new project, leave a draining relationship, or finally answer the call you've felt nudging at your spirit for years. These shifts can be terrifying because they ask you to let go of familiar anchors. Yet, to cling to the old is to deny the possibility of the new. If you sense that gentle push urging you forward, whether it's toward a fresh career path, a move to a new location, or an act of selfless service, consider that it might very well be God guiding you to your next step of evolution. Chosen one, do not underestimate the power of small beginnings. If you feel too insignificant to make a difference, recall how a tiny spark can ignite an entire forest. Sometimes, God's message arrives as a faint whisper that tells you to start exactly where you are. You do not have to see the entire path to trust that each step is illuminated. You need only follow the light you have for today, and tomorrow you will receive the light for tomorrow. This is how faith operates. It does not demand a blueprint for the entire journey. It accepts that each day's provisions will be enough for each day's needs. Yet a sincere word of caution. As you move toward your calling, not everyone will understand or support your path. Some may react with envy, skepticism, or even ridicule, trying to drag you back to an old version of yourself. That is natural. People who have not heard the same divine invitation will rarely grasp your urgency. But stand firm in your convictions, for you are not living to please the crowd. You are living to fulfill a destiny that is intricately designed for you and you alone. God's message is too valuable, too sacred, to let it be drowned out by the voices of those who do not share your vision. Love these individuals, pray for them, but do not let them detour you from what you know in your spirit is right. You might still wonder, why me? Or am I really chosen? But if you have felt that ache, that unrelenting sense that your life is meant to break the mold, to stand for something greater, then yes, you are chosen. Being chosen does not imply an easier life. It implies a life of purpose, illuminated by grace even in the darkest valleys. When you align yourself with God's plan, you tap into a reservoir of strength and peace that defies human logic. Problems do not vanish overnight, but you face them with fresh courage, understanding that you walk not alone but with a guiding force that sees you, loves you, and calls you forward. Let us also consider the role of self-forgiveness in embracing God's message. It is one thing to believe that God forgives you, and quite another to forgive yourself for past mistakes. Often, people remain shackled by regret, replaying scenarios where they wish they had spoken differently or chosen differently. But God's message urges you to release yourself from the prison of self-condemnation. Not because your errors do not matter, but because grace is bigger than any wrongdoing. When you allow yourself to accept this grace, you unlock a level of freedom that enables you to step into your calling without the weight of guilt dragging you down. As this message works its way deeper into your spirit, you might feel tension between the life you lead now and the life you sense you are called to. That tension is the friction between old habits and new possibilities, the collision between complacency and growth. It can be uncomfortable, even painful, to surrender familiar patterns, but trust the process. Just as a caterpillar must struggle within its cocoon before it emerges as a butterfly, you too must endure the necessary changes that lead to transformation. Each day, choose to place one foot in front of the other, guided by faith rather than by the noise of your doubts. A key aspect of God's message is that it does not isolate you. Even though at times you might feel alone on this path, there are others out there who, like you, are waking up to the realization that there is more to life than material success or shallow relationships. Seek them out or pray for them to find you. A community of like-minded individuals can help you stay encouraged, share wisdom, and hold you accountable when you're tempted to retreat back into old, self-limiting beliefs. While you may have to walk certain stretches of your journey solo, companionship can fortify your resolve and remind you that the challenges you face are not yours alone. Now, if you haven't yet done so, remember the invitation from earlier. Hit the like button to signify that your heart is open to receiving all that God has for you. Subscribe to this channel to remain within the current of messages designed to uplift and guide your spirit. And crucially, leave a comment with the number 777, a conscious act of saying, "Yes, I align myself with this truth. I refuse to let God's message pass me by." These steps might appear small, but they are meaningful signals that you are ready to embark on this path without hesitation or apology. Chosen one, let's talk about persistence in prayer or meditation. Sometimes you might find yourself kneeling or sitting in silent desperation, asking for answers that never seem to come. Yet God's timeline is not ours. The silence or delay you perceive might be preparation. Whenever you feel like your prayers are bouncing off the walls, remember that no sincere cry goes unheard. The universe, orchestrated by a creator of boundless imagination, has ways of answering that might not match your preconceived expectations. Keep your heart humble, remain watchful, and you'll notice doors opening in ways that defy logic. Moments of serendipity will occur that make you whisper, "Surely, God is at work here." You may also face temptations to give up. When you stand at the threshold of a new chapter, adversity often intensifies. Unexpected setbacks, sudden strains on your relationships, or a resurgence of old doubts can appear out of nowhere, as if to test your commitment. Recognize these trials for what they are, attempts to derail you from stepping fully into God's plan. In those moments, harness the resilience that carried you through past challenges. Remind yourself of every obstacle you've already overcome, and let that memory rekindle your courage. Surrender the outcome to God, acknowledging that your human understanding is limited, but your faith can reach beyond the constraints of your circumstances. Another dimension of God's message is the call to love. Whether it's loving yourself or extending grace to those who have wronged you, love stands at the core of this divine summons. Perhaps there is someone you need to forgive, or a situation you need to mend, or a boundary you need to set because love is not enabling toxicity. It is choosing what fosters growth for yourself and others. Love extends beyond warm feelings. It's an active force that transforms your daily life. If you truly allow God's love to flow through you, it will disrupt patterns of bitterness, cynicism, and fear, replacing them with compassion, service, and empathy. In times of confusion, let gratitude ground you. As you step into a fresh day of purpose, list the blessings that surround you, no matter how small. Gratitude recalibrates your perspective, shifting your focus from what lacks to what overflows. When you adopt a thankful heart, you open the door for God's message to echo even louder. The more you appreciate the everyday miracles, like the sunrise, the ability to breathe, the people who stand by you, the more your spirit aligns with the divine frequency of abundance and possibility. Gratitude essentially says, "I recognize the goodness in my life, and I am ready for more." If you find yourself pressed for direction, Recall that God's guidance often comes in the form of peace or unease. If a particular choice fills you with deep, sustaining peace, even if it's daunting, consider that God may be nudging you to proceed. If a path churns out unrelenting anxiety or moral conflict, perhaps it's not the direction you're meant to go. This isn't a foolproof formula, but an invitation to be attuned. Give yourself room to hear these inner signals, perhaps through quiet reflection or journaling. The more you practice listening, the sharper your spiritual ears become. Chosen one, as you integrate these truths, remain mindful that your journey is a tapestry of both triumphs and trials. No matter how strong your faith, life will not be free of challenges. Yet each challenge, approached with trust, becomes an opportunity to witness God's sustaining power. Over time, you will accumulate testimonies of grace, moments where provision arrived unexpectedly, where a crisis was diffused by an inexplicable peace, or where your very soul underwent a transformation you cannot credit to your own doing. Each testimony fortifies your faith, building a foundation that cannot easily be shaken by life's inevitable storms. Sometimes, people assume that God's message is about a rigid set of rules or an oppressive sense of duty. But if you read the accounts of lives profoundly touched by divine intervention, you'll find that God's message is ultimately one of freedom. Freedom from the lies that say you're not enough. Freedom from the cycles of shame that keep you locked in regret. Freedom from the limitations you or others have placed on your abilities. If you are feeling a quickening in your spirit now, it's the knowledge that you can break free from everything that has held you captive, whether it's fear, past trauma, or the opinions of others. Embracing this freedom might feel risky, but imagine the alternative: remaining confined to a life that doesn't reflect the brilliance woven into your soul. Every day, you make choices that either bring you closer to or farther from the message God has for you. Choose wisely. When you feel weary, do not isolate yourself. Instead, seek support from someone who lifts your spirits or from a piece of uplifting content that recalibrates your focus. When negativity creeps in, remember to guard your mind. Ponder on thoughts that align with hope, purpose, and love. This isn't escapism. It's active stewardship of your inner world. You cannot control every circumstance, but you can guide your reactions through what you allow to dwell in your thoughts and heart. Sometimes you might wonder if your actions truly matter. You think, I'm just one person among billions. How can my choices possibly create a difference? But never underestimate the ripple effect. A single act of kindness, a single statement of encouragement, or a single leap of faith can set off a chain reaction that touches countless lives. God's message is about more than just your personal comfort. It's about how your life can intersect with the needs of the world. If each person awakened to their divine calling, imagine the collective transformation that could sweep across communities and nations. Chosen one, do not be discouraged by what you see in headlines or the chaos that sometimes grips society. These dark backdrops often serve as the stage for the brightest lights. If your spirit trembles in empathy when you witness injustice, heartbreak, or suffering, that empathy may be your cue, your invitation to stand in the gap and bring light where there is darkness. Yes, the problems of the world can feel overwhelming, but you are not asked to solve them all on your own. You are asked simply to respond to God's message by doing your part, trusting that others will do theirs, and that a divine orchestration far beyond human understanding weaves it all together. When you next find yourself at a crossroads, uncertain whether to walk left or right, remember this message. God's plan for you is often revealed step by step, not in a grand unveiling. Move forward with the measure of clarity you have, and ask for more light as needed. If you sense a door has closed, don't pound on it in frustration. There may be another door waiting, or perhaps you're meant to wait patiently in the hallway, discovering lessons only found in stillness. Releasing the need to control every variable frees you to embrace the unfolding wonders of God's timing. By now, you might notice a stirring in your heart, a longing to apply these insights tangibly. Reflect on an area of your life that feels stuck or overshadowed by frustration. Place it in the context of God's message, asking for divine wisdom to illuminate your options. You may feel nudged to let go of a destructive relationship, to pursue a dream you've shelved for years, or to begin reconciling with someone you never thought you could forgive. Each step of obedience, no matter how small, propels you into deeper alignment with your destiny. When doubts rush back in, recall that faith is not the absence of uncertainty. It's the courage to move forward despite uncertainty. You do not walk alone. The God who shaped the galaxies has not forgotten your name. Even if you cannot perceive divine intervention in every detail, trust that your story is part of a vast cosmic narrative where each character has a role. Your role matters because without your unique contribution, the tapestry remains incomplete. Chosen one, do not miss this moment. This is your wake-up call to live fully awake, to reject the lie that your life is just about surviving from day to day. God is calling you to thrive, to grow, to expand the boundaries of what you thought possible. He is calling you to love so boldly that cynicism shakes its head in disbelief, to dream so vividly that complacency retreats in shame, and to stand so firmly that the storms of life cannot uproot you. Will you accept this call, or will you let it pass by, overshadowed by routine concerns? If a chord of hope has been struck within you, remember the symbolic steps you can take now. Like this video as an agreement with what resonates in your heart. Subscribe to remain in tune with messages that can continually fortify your spirit. And leave a comment with the number 777, signifying your conscious decision to receive and act upon God's message. You might feel a tingle of energy as you do so, a sense that a new chapter is about to unfold. Let that energy move you to take real-world steps that align with your newfound clarity. The next time the sun rises, notice how it bathes the earth in light, dispelling the darkness of night. In that sunrise, find a metaphor for your own awakening. Every day is a second chance to walk in faith, to love deeply, and to use your gifts to elevate the spaces you inhabit. Yes, problems may persist, but you will face them differently, with courage, with wisdom, and with a resolve that stems from a deep-rooted conviction. God has a message for you, and you have accepted it. Together, you and God co-author a narrative of hope, redemption, and endless possibility. Chosen one, let the final echoes of this message settle into the most hidden corners of your heart. Let them banish the lingering specters of doubt and fear, replacing them with expectancy and joy. From this moment on, walk forward in the knowledge that you are known, you are loved, and you are appointed to a life that transcends the boundaries of ordinary existence. May every breath you take remind you that each day holds fresh mercies, new opportunities, and a grace that outshines any shadow. You have not stumbled here by chance. This is your moment to rise, to shine, and to declare boldly, I have heard God's message, and I refuse to miss the wonder of what comes next.